Hello and welcome to the New York Sofalites. My name is Gretchen. I'm here with my oldest friend Rachel. There's a lot going on in the world, and we have some serious thoughts about unserious subjects. So I do want to also mention, we haven't mentioned it yet, but Stephanie is on maternity leave, which is why she's not here. We didn't kick her out. So
I didn't know if we were allowed to share with the audience, but
yes,
we're so happy that she is on maternity leave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we're not happy that she's not here. But.
Yeah, but she's having a, nice bonding time. So I think at this point it's okay to mention. I maybe should have run it by her first. She can tell us if we need to
We
cut
can
this.
edit it out.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, but yes. So she will be back soon, hopefully. But in the meantime, we are holding down the sofas. So the big news this week, and I think it's probably going to take up most of our episode, is we saw the Odyssey.
Yay!
Not in IMAX 70 millimeter. We are not near one of those.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous of the people who did get to see it in the large format screens. I think it probably was even more epic.
Yeah, probably. Then there is one about 3 hours away from us in either direction, so maybe one day, but
Maybe one day.
yeah, but I'm
glad we saw it.
Me too.
It was very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, yeah, let's start off by saying that even though this is a 3,000-year-old text, we are going to spoil it.
Yes. I have a feeling most people have an idea of a lot of the story, but you will be spoiled because the end is a little different than I'd say. Like the landing message was very
That's
Nolan.
True.
It was very
Nolan.
It felt very modern, the way the ending kind of landed. Like modern as in like dealing with contemporary issues. So at least to me, I don't know. We can talk about it, but yeah. So
yeah. So yeah, I guess to start us off, what were your thoughts? Like if you had to rate this movie out of 10?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I think I'd probably give it an 8. Maybe a 7, but I think
interesting.
How about you? What was your out of 10?
I mean, I think that I have to grade on a curve for Christopher Nolan and for all of the like technical stuff.
True.
Which was really incredible.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was a perfect movie, and I think that actually we'll talk about this too, but they kind of were tripping over the technical stuff a little bit. So maybe I would give it an 8.5.
Okay. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, and we can go over the kind of particulars, but there were really amazing parts of it, and I loved the overall kind of effect of it, but some of the kind of casting fell a little flat to me, or the acting, perhaps. I don't know.
Interesting. And we want to be clear that, like, it's not because of the colorblind casting.
No,
we liked that.
We liked that very much. In fact, I didn't have a problem with any of those people. It was more like, and maybe it wasn't a problem with the casting so much as a script
the performances
problem.
themselves.
Yeah, the performances, and also a little bit of a script problem because the only thing, and I know Emily Wilson tore this movie apart, and I don't agree with all of her commentary, but
oh my God, she
really
was
hated this.
Salty, and she waited to make that statement until like a week after this movie came out. What happened?
I know. But one thing I did agree with her a little bit about was that Odysseus was kind of joyless and witless. Like he was kind of always down and flat. And it's not that, and I think there's so much going on that it's hard to, make it just you weren't rooting for him as much as I was rooting for Penelope and Telemachus to get their dad and husband back, I guess. Sure. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was hard to root for Odysseus. I feel like it is hard to root for Odysseus.
Yeah. He's kind of
because
a dick
he makes
sometimes.
Zero good decisions.
Yeah, yes, that is true.
Whenever he is faced with a decision, he makes the wrong one.
Yeah.
And I think that this movie, like, it dives into like kind of the reasons for that, but you're right. I think it's hard to have a good time in a Christopher Nolan movie. Like, I
True.
can't
True.
think of any character in any Christopher Nolan movie who is actually having a great time.
True. Except for the Joker, maybe.
The Joker
Was
is
he
having a
enjoying
great
it?
time.
He might not have been enjoying it, but he was
I know. He
reveling.
wasn't really like, nobody's smiling
No.
in a Christopher Nolan movie. Nobody seems
Yeah.
like happy to be there.
True.
I think
Yeah.
Tom Hardy was having like a pretty good time in
Yes. In Batman, what is it? Begins?
actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
like
last
he was
one.
having a good time being Bane, and he was
The
having
Dark
like
Knight. Yeah.
a pretty good time in what's the one where they're dreaming?
Oh, Inception.
In Inception. Thank you. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So, but absent that, like, it's just, yeah, we're not like, I don't know, we're just not having a great time. You know who was having a great time in this movie was Rob Pattinson, and
My
thank
God. He played such a like smarmy little fuckboy, and I loved it.
I loved it. I loved the two of them together.
Yeah.
Like he and
Mia Goth.
Mia Goth,
I
just
know.
like being like weird little weirdos
Like little
together.
British weirdos. Yeah.
I just loved it. Like,
I know.
because that
Yeah.
was like one of the only parts that had any kind of like sense of fun or like
Yeah. Yeah.
anything. They were the only people who were like truly having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. But he did make me laugh out loud in the last scene ish. Like where they're fighting, and he's just like behind a column, being like, "Get the
He's like,
spears,
"Get the
get the
swords,
spears!" He's just like, "Get the spears, get the spears!" And like, it's just like it was pretty funny.
Truly,
Yeah.
he was having a great time,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
appreciated that.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I agree that like it. Not that it was a downer, because I think I don't know. I want to say it ended on a hopeful note, but
it
kind
did.
of.
Yeah, kind of.
It kind of ended on like like I guess, but like maybe
Yeah.
a hopeful note. I felt a
Yeah.
little attacked, but we'll get there.
Wait, how so? I didn't hear this. Okay, I did appreciate one thing. I really appreciated about Odysseus was that he was perhaps more so than even in like the original text, like very self-reflective and like was trying to learn maybe after 10 years of dicking around, from his mistakes or whatever. So that's one thing I kind of appreciated. Yeah, but
I do think that, yeah, like we're in this iteration, Odysseus is kind of like taking into account the nature of memory and the nature of, he's dealing with grief like we're doing in every Christopher Nolan movie. We're dealing with grief, and sometimes that takes a long time.
Yeah.
It can take 20 years on your way back to Ithaca. So,
Yeah.
but before we get into like the script and what we thought about the script, maybe we can talk a little bit about some of like the technical aspects.
Yeah.
Because this movie was really spectacular from a technical point of view.
It really was. Yeah.
But first of all, we have to talk about this cast. This is like such a stacked cast. Every actor in the entire world was in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true.
What did we think? We talked about Pattinson and Goth. We loved them. What did we think about Travis Scott kicking the whole thing off, like doing a little spoken word?
I didn't even realize it was him until like several days later. I thought he was great. I really liked that beginning, actually.
too.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he came back later and he was just like,
Yeah.
it was exactly, I think, the right amount of Travis Scott.
Yeah. Any more, it might have been too much. Yeah.
Although I think the only other time I've ever like seen or heard him in a movie is I think that he's one of the voices in the Trolls movie franchise.
Oh, I think you might be right. Yeah.
And I did enjoy that movie with my
Yeah.
children 700,000 times. So
Yeah, I thought he was great. I loved that beginning, kind of setting up the story of Odysseus without like presenting Odysseus, and it's like, oh yeah, he is just kind of a memory right now for everyone and like a legend. So yeah, that was really interesting. But
yeah, and kind of like puts you in a almost like a meta textual space where you're like, we're watching a movie about people telling the story of Odysseus, but also people are like actively telling the story of Odysseus inside of this story. And some of us are more reliable narrators than others of us. And
Yeah.
they didn't even let Travis talk, so we don't know if he was a reliable narrator. But
I assumed that that was some kind of, you know, spoken word thing that had been spread through the land. Like, I didn't think that it was written by him, but that was my assumption. So
maybe, yeah. I don't know how that whole thing was supposed to work, but I liked it. It was good to see Travis Scott to kick it off. It like had a nice energy to it.
Yeah, agreed.
Tom Holland.
I thought he was really good, actually. I think he's, you know, he wasn't flexing all of his acting chops. Like, I feel like he wasn't given material that was like really deep, but there's a lot of subtlety to what he was doing. And I also think he was kind of like the heart of the film, I felt like.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What were your thoughts? Yeah.
I feel like he was a little bit underserved by the script. Like,
agreed.
he had almost no dialogue except to say to everyone, "You have wise eyes, Athena's eyes," which is not a thing a person would ever say to someone, especially not more than once. That's an insane way to greet people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think underserved by the script, but he did do a great job. He had to, like, kind of, like, cold cry in a couple of takes, which is hard to do, and he really pulled it off. So.
Yeah, definitely. And he also was a really, like, in that scene where Anne Hathaway was kind of yelling at him.
I loved that scene.
Yeah, the way he was reacting to it, like, you kind of, like, at least for me, maybe I was projecting, but, like, you saw a lot going on, and he said nothing back, but, like, he was... Like, you saw a lot going on. So I really appreciate him. I think he's great. And I did feel like he was kind of like the center heart of the story, because you're like, I just want Odysseus to come back for this fucking son. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, what are you doing?
Like, he really needed his dad.
Yeah, he really needed his dad. Yeah.
But he was doing great. And yeah, I think that we needed someone who was just like our kind of like 100% sympathetic character. Yeah. Although we had Penelope, who like really, you know, was doing her best. And
yeah, and Penelope, I mean, she's a complicated character to me. Like, I always, from the minute I learned this story, I was always like, so she's just waiting around? Like, what is she doing? But she was a lot more, like, plotting and strategic and coy than a lot of the, like, there's a lot suggested in the original text that isn't even there, and it was even, like, kind of less here, I would say. Like, you hear a lot about how she's doing things, but you don't see it. Like, we hear that she's been grilling Ithaca, but we're not really seeing it. We're seeing her just kind of sitting behind the screen, like, weaving, which is weaving is a big part of the story for her, but it's just, like, there wasn't a lot there. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. It's talked about. It's like they tell us, but they don't show us, you know, when he's like, Ithaca needs a king, and she's like, Ithaca doesn't need a king. Like, Ithaca has a king. I'm the king.
Yeah. But, like, she's not... We don't see her do anything. Like, we don't see her making decisions. She's still just saying, like, I'm waiting for my husband, like, to make the decisions, basically.
Yeah. So that... It could have been, like, a little bit more fleshed out, but I loved that scene where she read him and was like, you can't string this bow. And, Like, you never want to... As, like, a mom, like, I would hate to have a conversation like that with my son, because, like, it honestly, at the end of the day, if you raise a shitty kid, that's on you, especially when he has no father. So, like, his behavior is probably a little bit her fault. But it was good that in that moment she could stand up for herself and say, like, you know.
Yeah. And he wasn't even being that bad. I think he was acting out of fear. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing his best.
He was doing his best for a young person without a father who's been waiting for 20 years for his father to show back up. Like, that's fucking insane.
So he was supposed to be, like, over 20 years old, but sometimes he was acting like he was about 14.
Yeah,
he was, like, a little bit, like, Arrested
Development.
Development.
Stunted, yeah.
But again, he didn't have a dad.
He didn't have a dad. Let's remember. And he was a prince. I did think that, like, I think you mentioned this, too, like, lacking chemistry between Matt Damon and Anne Hathaway. It's just like... Oh
my God, zero chemistry.
Yeah.
Like, as much chemistry as Rob Pattinson had with Mia Goth, that was the amount of chemistry that Anne Hathaway did not have with Matt Damon.
Yeah. So weird. It was so odd. Yeah.
It's so weird because like they honestly like are age appropriate to have a relationship. Matt Damon was looking the best he's looked in years. Anne Hathaway looks great.
Yeah.
There was something, and maybe this like maybe it was part of how it was shot, although this was one of the only 2 shots in the movie. So apparently like with these IMAX cameras, they're enormous and they're very, very loud. So you have to put like a thing around them to dampen the noise, which makes them even bigger.
Wow.
So they were not able to do like shot reverse shot coverage, and it was difficult to even do a 2-shot. And
interesting. Yeah.
also what we noticed about the cinematography, like there were no long takes, is because the IMAX cameras, they overheat, so they can't do long takes. They can only shoot for like a couple of minutes at a time.
Yeah. Wow.
So there were a lot of like workarounds in order to get this like incredible IMAX footage. And at some points in this movie I was like, you know, maybe if you're like inside a tent with Charlize Theron, you don't need the giant IMAX rig, and you could have shot that part on like a different film.
Yeah,
you know?
Agreed.
We're not at sea in like a big naval battle shooting with like a historically accurate ship that you have built. There, I understand you want the nice camera.
Yeah.
Although, like, shooting stuff like that, it was probably super annoying not to be able to do the long takes.
My God, yeah, I bet. I did notice that that there were not a lot of long takes, and I didn't know that was why. Yeah,
no long takes, no like shot reverse shot coverage, just very few even 2 shots. But the stuff that was like, you know, they shot on location for the most part, and the stuff that was like in a wide shot and you were getting all of the like beautiful scenery and stuff, that was spectacular.
Yeah, that was really amazing. Yeah, I agreed. I think, you know, honestly, I don't want to be like against Matt Damon. I don't have any beef with him, but
what could you possibly have against America's sweetheart, Matt Damon?
But I kind of just feel like it was a little bit his fault. Like, I don't know. Like,
just like Odysseus.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. He was being too much of an Odysseus. Because like you should have felt that level of chemistry. Like, should have been insane for someone to wait 20 years. Like, yes, I know there were other things going on. Like, I know there was, you know, there were political ideas. Like, she, you know, had to make a lot of choices aside from just being in love with this guy. But like, she was bringing it. Like, I felt how much she loved him, like, from her performance. I didn't feel that as much from him. Again, we spent a lot of the movie watching him just evade going home, so that was part of it probably. But like, yeah.
Wonder though if that was a choice, because in that scene he said a couple of times, he was like, I might not come home.
Yeah.
And like, if I don't come home, I really would like for you to get married.
Yeah.
And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he left, everyone was like, he's coming home. He said he was coming home. But actually, he said he probably was not coming home.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have misinterpreted Odysseus from the start.
I think that there was something, you know, obviously he's supposed to be this amazingly wise, you know, kind of ideal mensch, and perfect in every way. And so they're like, there's no way he can't come home. Like, there was just kind of that idea.
Yeah, they're like, of course he would come home. And
yeah. Like, there's no way he won. And they heard that he won, and then he was on his way. And so they're like, what could have stopped him? Turns out a lot could have stopped him.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about Anne Hathaway. I will say that, like, I did not hate her in this role. I thought that she was doing a great job.
And that's a big compliment from Rachel.
It's a huge compliment.
So those of you who are new, she has a little bit of beef with Anne Hathaway. So
I really can't stand her in life, but I thought that she put in a very good performance. I do think that she will be in Oscar contention, and I think her intent will be to run in supporting.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that I was really drawn in by her performance. You know, that I didn't think it was her fault of the chemistry lack, or that was her on her at all.
No.
Yeah. So she tries. She always
Yeah.
tries. Yeah.
I thought, yeah, she did great and she looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Other casting of note is we didn't get to see his face until like the scene where he was killed, but Benny Safdie as Agamemnon.
I was shocked.
What a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be him. Yeah.
It took me a second to put it together.
Yeah.
I saw like the eyebrows and the hair and I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And then I realized that it was him and then I was like,
wait.
is this like, I thought it was such an interesting choice to like have the helmet on the entire time to like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I don't know if it was to obscure his face or just because like it was like a scary, like a Darth Vader thing, like everyone's scarier when they have a big helmet on.
I didn't really know why either, to be honest.
He did look very scary.
He looked super scary.
Emmanuel's conjecture was that, quote, Benny Safdie's face is garbage. So
Well, he doesn't look scary. His face does not look scary.
he does not look, he just looks like a guy.
He just looked like a guy, so it was kind of shocking to realize that he's just a dude in this giant mask with the bones, like the spine coming off the back.
Which I think was very cool, but I know
was
that there
really
was a
cool.
lot of like internet naysaying about how that was not historically accurate armor and people were mad, but I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool too. I mean,
And he did look scary.
He looked very scary.
And yeah, the fact that you didn't see his face made it even more scary.
Yeah, agreed. And I think, I don't know, I think that there's a level of like, there's a lot that was accurate, I think, but there's also, it is a fantasy, it's not a historical, yes, I get that
Like,
it's,
Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
there's also cyclopses in this movie.
Yeah, like, what do you want me to do
What are we
about
doing
that?
here?
I know, like, yeah, I don't know. But it's a fantasy. It was a fantasy back then. It's not like we are trying to recreate something exactly as it happened, because it didn't happen. So it's fine.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, I thought it was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, he was fine in it.
Yeah.
No complaints. Another thing that the naysayers had a lot to say about was Lupita Nyong'o, and I thought she was great.
She was wonderful. I didn't know Helena Troy had a sister. Did I forget about this plot point?
I feel like she had a sister because so Clytemnestra was her sister who was married to Agamemnon and then murdered Agamemnon after the war, and then her children murdered her.
Okay.
And then her son ended up being the king, I think.
Okay, that's right. I couldn't remember all those plot points. That was like, I was like, wait, what? I was thrown off, but
I didn't remember that
Yeah.
either, but I have a husband who is a man, so he
knows all about the Roman Empire.
He knows so much about the Roman Empire and even more about ancient Greece.
Yes, he can tell you all about ancient Greece, and the Odyssey and the Iliad. But I thought she was great. Yeah,
I thought she was
great.
absolutely fantastic. I didn't totally understand what was going on with her face. Like, so she had like, she was like really working the hell out of her like big eyes, which I love it when she does it. She has like just such huge expressive eyes, and she was really like not saying a lot, but saying a lot with her eyes. So I liked that.
Yeah.
And then I didn't understand with like the facial scarring if that was like something that happened during the sack of Troy, or was that something that was like a punishment for like running away to Troy? Like that was unclear to me.
I thought, my initial thought was that she was abused, because it was Agamemnon who abused her, right? That's what I thought.
No, Agamemnon was her brother-in-law. His brother
John Bernthal.
Yes.
Menelaus.
Yes. So Menelaus, John Bernthal is her husband.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, I guess my assumption was that like, yeah, in punishment for her kind of like absconding.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
To Troy, he hurt her.
That's what I assumed, but I could be wrong.
And I don't think that's like anywhere in the text. I think that was kind of like an invention of this movie, which is interesting because I think like we're not meant to think that John Bernthal is like a totally good person, but he is the person that's
Mm.
like giving Telemachus the best advice.
Yes, that's true.
So I
Yeah.
guess people contain multitudes.
But that is, I think that is one of the morals of the stories. People can contain multitudes. Even if we're not always seeing it, we're being told it. But I think, yeah, I mean, I guess it could be possible that it was just part of her being kind of in Troy with Paris, right? When
Yes, because she was
um,
there during the sack
the
of
sacking
Troy,
of her,
which,
yeah.
like, you know, was quite
Yeah,
violent and stands to reason that, like, you know, some things might have happened. So
yeah, yeah. And I feel like, I mean, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for Menelaus to do that to her, but given maybe he wanted to though, so no one else would kidnap her. I don't know. But
maybe.
I don't remember this part of the story, nor do I know for sure. But that's kind of, I know her role is kind of supposed to be ambiguous, right? Like whether or not she
Yeah.
ran away or was kidnapped or whatever. So,
I think, yeah, like it in the text, it always has been ambiguous. And then Anne Hathaway like says it. She's like, well, maybe she just left and went to Troy.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, but then I
being
did
very
like yeah,
shady.
yeah. Well, I did like the scene where she hugged Timel. Oh my god, I just lost how to say his name. But
Telemachus?
Telemachus, yeah, and she said, "Tell your mother I'm sorry. All this blood was um, spilled in my name," and that made me think that she. Well, I mean, she
That
could have just
she
left.
ran
Yeah,
away.
that could have, but because I guess if she was kidnapped, she still might feel some guilt, but maybe you know, she did play a part in it. But it obviously was not her fault that all these people went to war over her. That was not necessary.
No. And
Um,
as we found out, like maybe they went to war over her and maybe they went to war over shipping routes and,
yeah, that's
you
what
know,
Odysseus explained to us. So,
yeah.
yeah, but um,
But yeah, I thought she was great.
I thought she was
And
really wonderful. Yeah.
the only other like interesting piece of casting, which I don't know if anyone cares about, except for people who are parents who have had to watch a lot of Sesame Street, but the actor that plays the Cyclops is a comic actor and a mime, and he has played Mr. Noodle
My
on Sesame
God.
Street for many, many, many years.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And
So.
thought he was great.
So he was wonderful. The Cyclops was so interesting, and like there was. I remember you saying like, "Can he see? Like, what's going on?"
That
Like,
was
yeah, and
confusing.
yeah, but I think also again like the ambiguity there, like there, like we kind of get the sense that like we don't know. Like we're kind of in their shoes where we don't know what's going on. We're like, can he see? Is he just playing with us? Like stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it was a little bit that scene at first it took me a minute to get my bearings. I was like, you know, can he see? Can he hear? Like why
Mm-hmm.
is he like these people there's so many people in his cave and he's just like not reacting to
Yeah.
them at all. So like
Mm-hmm.
that was confusing. And then they were just like
Yeah.
speaking to each other full voice and he didn't appear to understand them. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
that was
But
confusing.
yeah. Yeah. But then at the end he was speaking in English and they're like, "Oh, should we
He
reason with him?" It's
was.
like you just burned out his eye, so probably not.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
guess
But
by way of
yeah.
explaining that away, Matt Damon was like, "Well, do you talk to ants?" And like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it's not a way that I've ever really seen that scene done before. So like, apart from the technical aspects of it, which were
Mm-hmm.
spectacular, like they did shoot a bunch of sheep in a cave, and that should be applauded. Like there were real sheep in a real cave, and
At that alone. Also, the cheese was hilarious. Why did they even talk about the cheese? That was really funny. I don't
I
know.
get maybe they were trying to explain why he wasn't eating the sheep.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. But it's just weird. They're like there's a meme going around of Anthony from Queer Eye. He's like, I didn't know there'd be artisanal cheese. Like, it is hilarious. Yeah.
I also didn't know there would be cheese. I guess
Yeah.
it stands to reason. Like, you have a cave, you have a lot of sheep.
Yeah.
Probably you're making cheese.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
I get it. But it also suggested an intellect beyond what they were ascribing to him. Like, I don't know.
yeah.
But
Yeah, it was a weird scene, but it was a cool scene. And
agreed. I liked it.
and then at the end of the scene, which like goes a little bit differently in the book, I guess, but he makes the first of like many decisions that make it so obvious that he is not interested in going home.
Yeah.
When he like has escaped this cave and then taunts this Cyclops. It's like,
I know.
why are men so dumb?
He's like, I had to avenge. And it's like, you already like blinded him. You don't have to avenge anyone. And also, yeah, I think in the book he like announces himself. He's like, I am Odysseus, and like blah blah blah. So then he
does.
Yeah.
So then all the gods are pissed at him.
Yeah, because the Cyclops was the son of Poseidon. So Poseidon's mad.
Poseidon is so mad.
That's one thing I did really like, is that we didn't see the gods, but we saw them. There's a suggestion of them. And I think that made a lot of sense. I think it would have been a mistake to try to portray the gods in any way that was like mystical. So that's kind of like Calypso, like Zeus talks through thunder, and so Calypso's kind of like looking up at the sky sometimes when she's like trying to figure out what to do and stuff like that. So yeah, that was interesting. But
so what did you think of the framing device of having him sort of like for a large portion of the time being on the island with Calypso and like experiencing the Odyssey in flashbacks?
I thought that was interesting. I do want to, before we get there, I do want to talk about Circe real quick. If we're gonna go in order, in chronological order, because that was my favorite part, probably.
Me too. I love pigs. I think they're so cute.
Yeah, and it's Samantha Mortensen, right, who played her? Is that right?
Yeah, Samantha
Mortensen. I've definitely seen her in other things, and she's always been great. But Samantha Morton, sorry.
Yes.
She was so good, and I loved, seeing her be witchy with the sheep. So that was great, and I loved that whole scene. That was genuinely scary when they were eating and they couldn't stop eating.
That was like so very scary, and like the effects of like her like massaging their faces into pig faces.
That. Yeah.
The makeup was incredible. Those,
it was
I'm sure that there was also like there were makeup effects, practical effects, like visual effects.
Pretty amazing scene. I loved it. I loved the kind of conversation they had. It does differ from the story, obviously, but because in the story he like stays with her for a year and just hangs out, and they are lovers. So I hate that word, but whatever. So back to Calypso.
Yes.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on that framing device?
I mean, at first I was like, obviously it's Chris Nolan. We have to like go out of order, and we have to like see things from a bunch of different perspectives, and we have to like, there's going to be a twist, and there's going to be like we thought something was one way, but really it's another way, and that's just such a Christopher Nolan thing.
Yeah.
And that's great. In this particular instance, it actually really worked for me.
Yeah.
I really liked the metaphor of like him putting the pieces of his memory together, like he was putting like the pieces of his ship back together that were like coming in on the tide. I thought that was a cool metaphor. I think that sometimes that is how trauma can affect us, and like sometimes we do need time to piece things together and to have the correct perspective. So in that way, I do think that like maybe Calypso did think that she was being helpful. I don't know that we can like read her as just like this horrible woman that was trapping him on an island and feeding him lotus flower and being the worst. I think that she was trying to help him process his
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah.
And when he had, pieced together enough flotsam and jetsam of his memory that had floated in on the tide, and he had enough to make a raft, she was like, now it's time for you to go and
Yeah.
accept your punishment from
Yeah.
the gods. And
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think she was definitely more of a. I didn't see her in the story. She's more of this temptress and kind of keeping him prisoner. And here she was really more of kind of a therapist. She was just sort of
yes, this was it was ancient Greek ketamine therapy.
yeah, yeah.
She's like, you have to just be in this lotus trance state and really process what has happened to you through your body.
Yeah.
But also it was complicated because she was
she was in love with him. Yeah,
she was in love with him, and she was like, we were really happy.
Yeah. She was like, why would you need to leave? We have everything here. And I did appreciate the kind of device that he built the raft and then kind of just showed up at home. He has had to basically stop trying to not go home to go home.
Exactly.
So.
And he had to accept she was as she was sending him off, you have to accept your punishment. His punishment was going home.
Yeah. And facing what he'd done.
And facing what he did. And when he was ready to accept the fact that sacking Troy was not a glorious victory. It was actually a terrible sin against the gods.
Yeah.
And he thought he was going to go home a hero, and he couldn't, and he had all this guilt. And I think that his time working through that in therapy with Calypso was probably good for him.
Yes.
Although it did take a very long time.
It took a very long time. That kind of was frustrating to me, but I did feel like it was a kind of successful way to get there. Charlize Theron, I usually love her. I think she's great and everything. I actually thought she was acting quite well in this role, but I just, for whatever reason, when I just looked at her, I just saw, Goop Mom. For whatever, I don't know if it was, the recent, work she's had, or she just,
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
She looked way too contemporary. She could have walked right off the set and out into the world, and nobody would have batted an eyelash.
Yeah, in that net dress, which was amazing. But
she was not giving ancient Greece.
No, yeah. So just a note, but I think she was doing a totally capable job for the role that she had, which was kind of a little bit, a little flat again, but it was definitely giving him something, and there was complexity there. So
just this is one of the situations in which yes, that shot of her butt on the beach, that was a great shot. You definitely want the IMAX camera if that's what you have in your frame.
Yeah.
When you're in the tiny tent, probably you don't want the refrigerator sized camera rig.
Yeah.
But it did feel very close and very intimate in that tent. I have a few questions about why we were kind of on the set of Lost with a tent and nothing else.
Yeah,
I thought that Calypso lived on this beautiful lush island. I thought that the temptation was Calypso, but also the fact that they really did have everything they needed to live a very comfortable life there. I would be putting that raft together and getting out of there immediately.
Yeah, and that really was. I was thinking about that too, because I'm where are the lotus flowers even growing? I didn't see anything.
It's a great point. Also, I've never seen a lotus flower that looks like that.
I know, they look kind of like those carnations that are dyed at the grocery store. Yeah, I was this is a weird lotus
certainly
flower.
Wouldn't eat one.
No. And he's I like them.
I love them.
Don't eat them. I was that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
But
It actually, this happened to me many, many times while watching this movie, is that I was reminded of the television show Vikings.
Oh,
There is definitely a plot line in Vikings where the lead character has absconded with this woman from the Orient, and she continues drugging him with like opium, and like it's a very similar situation.
Okay.
So
Okay. Maybe I need to
not
watch
the
that.
only time that I have been reminded of Vikings while watching this movie.
Okay. Yeah, I need to watch Vikings. I have not watched that yet.
Yeah, if you liked this movie, you will love Vikings.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, good to know. I've seen it come up as an option. I'm like, I just haven't watched it, but yeah. So any other things before he arrives back home that you want to talk about? There were other scenes for sure. Yeah.
So the siren scene,
Yeah.
I thought that this was like absolutely incredible. This like
Yeah.
this shook me to my core. Like I have
I
studied
know.
the classics. I've studied, various, literature that references this. I've never thought about the sirens this way. Like I have always
Yeah.
thought that like men were told to be careful to avoid the sirens, to not listen to the song because the song would be so beautiful that they would accidentally dash themselves on the rocks trying to like reach this like thing that they desire.
Yeah.
It never occurred to me that the siren song like would make men dash themselves on the rocks because they were in absolute despair.
I know. That was super compelling to me too. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
wild. It gave me goosebumps. I like literally never thought about it that way. And Matt Damon saying that like the thing that you want is the thing that you most can't have, and the thing that you most can't have is the thing that you already had and you lost it. And which is like coming out of Matt Damon's mouth, that actually sounded pretty stupid, but is a very, I think, adept way to just describe grief, which is something that men are so like abhorred by. Like they're very like, we don't have grief, we don't process
We don't need to
grief,
process anything.
men don't cry. And so I thought that this scene was really spectacular, and I did like that like one guy like took out his wax and jumped off the boat. They're like, just to prove that the situation is serious, we had to have one.
Yeah, you're just, and I also thought it was a kind of like, I know he did this, but again, like the choices that Odysseus makes, he's like, I'm gonna hear it. Like you all put wax in your ears, I'm gonna hear it. Just tie me to the mast. And I'm like, why?
I thought that was so interesting because like at that point he was ready to hear it, right? Because he had already heard the prophecy from, they had already been in Hades. And
it's also a great scene.
Scene was probably my favorite scene. Like, first of all, I love that they shot on location. I love that they shot Iceland for Hades, because this is actually kind of a cultural universal. Like in the Viking epics, when they describe hell, they say that like it's a place that's north and it's a really inhospitable place, and the way that they describe it is very much like Iceland.
Okay. Yeah.
So I loved that comparison, and the scene was just so good.
It was so good. Yeah.
Seeing all the ghosts and like I was
Mm-hmm.
so nervous that Elliot Page wouldn't get to do anything in this
know.
movie, except get
he was
stabbed
great.
like a bunch of times.
And he was great. I thought that monologue was like one of the best ones. Yeah.
It was. He was like, first of all, he read Odysseus. He was like, you knew that it was supposed to be Rob Pattinson on that boat, and you didn't say shit, and then you lied to me, and then I died.
Yeah. And you knew I would have done what you asked anyways. Like, you didn't have to lie to me.
You didn't have to lie to, like, why does Odysseus always have to be that guy?
It's so annoying. Yeah.
He's so annoying.
Yeah.
Like,
and
yeah. It was,
Um,
I did like the flashback that they had though too, where like, what was his name? Sinan,
yeah.
Sinan was like, I'm gonna be the guy, I'll be the guy that's left behind with the horse, and like, just tell my father what I did. Feel free to add some stuff.
Yeah, that was really funny. He was like, feel free to add whatever you want. I thought that was really cute. Yeah,
that was very cute.
Yeah. I really liked that scene too. That was great. And then we learned about Rob Pattinson and him and all this stuff. So, but
yeah, which was like kind of devastating. Like, I feel like we knew, like, it wasn't a revelation to us even that Odysseus knew that they had switched lots, but I think it was like a revelation that everybody knew, that Odysseus knew.
Yeah.
And like, because that was unfair and he let it happen because he was
Yeah.
like, he didn't want to shame a rich lord or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
which, you know,
Yeah.
was shitty.
That was shitty. Yeah. But
But yeah, so then like he gets this prophecy and, you know, the other guys can't hear the prophecy. Odysseus gets the prophecy and he's like, he knows exactly what's going to happen. And then you get this situation, and I think that this was kind of like something that I don't think we totally landed on one side or another of this point throughout this entire movie, which is like, do you have free will or is your fate decided by the gods?
yeah. Yeah. It's a good question.
And like,
And, yeah. I don't know yet either. I think it's a little bit of both. Like, that's what the movie is positing. It's like, you make your own choices, and then things are going to come from the gods because of it. It's kind of like,
right, so you make your own choices, but your choices have consequences.
yeah. And that will be defined by the gods, and then...
But you have choices about which consequences you would like.
Yes, basically, yeah.
Basically, this is the world's first trolley problem Odysseus is presented with. He's like, you can go in the whirlpool or you can get eaten by the serpent, which I don't know if I like was in the bathroom or something, but I was really confused by what happened in this scene. So like, Odysseus was like, I know that if we go in the whirlpool, everybody's going to die, and that only 6 of us will die if we go with the serpent. So does he like reverse psychology Hamish Patel? And he's like, we got to go in the whirlpool, and Hamish Patel is like, I've had enough of your shit, Odysseus. We're going with the serpent.
Yeah. Well, he didn't know the serpent was there, but yes. So as far as I know. But I don't really know.
Or was Odysseus at that point, like the line read to me was kind of like, just go in the fucking whirlpool. Like, it doesn't matter, just go in the fucking whirlpool.
That's kind of how he acted. He's like, we can do it, it's fine. And then like
knowing that it would have killed all of them, and like he seemed to be okay with it. But then Hamish Patel was like, no, we don't have to go in the whirlpool.
Yeah. I don't remember what the treachery that Hamish Patel knew about the other way. Maybe it was the serpent. But I thought like they all were shocked when the serpent came down. So maybe
I would be shocked.
Yeah.
Like, even if I knew that a giant serpent was coming to eat me when I saw it, I would still be shocked.
That's true. You don't know it, and it was huge. So
it was huge. It was very nasty, but they really sped through this scene. The scene was so short. It was probably like the most dangerous thing that happened to them, and it was like the shortest scene.
So quick. Yeah, I know. And then he was so mad at the end of it, and I get it, but he was like, well, I had to like make you do it the other way, and like he's like, I knew that 6 people would die, and then we would have all died or whatever. But
yeah, I don't understand what happened, what the kind of miscommunication was going on that ship.
Yeah, I didn't. And like, how did he know that was gonna work? Like, I wasn't like.
Yeah, like he could have. I guess he didn't care. He's like, we could go in this whirlpool, or my first mate could be so frustrated with me at this point, and then at least some of them will survive.
Yeah. I don't know. Confusing. I was confused about that because he was so just like whatever. He was like, yeah. Just,
but then he like tried a completely different tactic when they got to like the Isle of the Sun God or whatever with the flock, and he was like, you know, listen, at this point, like, I have to, and maybe this was what he was trying to do with the whirlpool. He was like, I have to wash my hands of this. Like, you are all going to die. You're going to eat these cows and you're going to die. And then they're like, well, we just won't eat the cows.
Yes.
And Matt Damon's like, you will though.
Yeah, he's like, fine, just go for it, like, whatever. Yeah.
Will. Yeah. And like, that must be a really frustrating situation to be in where he's like, I sealed my men's fate back in Troy. Yeah. And now I have this like agonizing trek home, and I know they're going to die, and they just won't believe it. And like, it just, Yeah. And
then he just catches them in that pit eating the cow. It's like, Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah.
It's like when you catch kids with candy that they're not supposed to.
Yeah, they're all like we decided that we wanted to just
We
die the
decided
other
that we
way.
would just like eat the cow.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. But
And then yeah, what happens to them? Because like we don't really see them after that.
they
Like
just
how
separate
do
from
they
the
all
ship.
die?
They drowned. They separated from the ship. So Odysseus was basically like the ship split in half, and Odysseus was on like a
The
little
ship's
raft.
there was a storm and it
Yeah,
split in half.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Again, this movie was 3-ish hours long. I had to go to the bathroom a couple of times.
yeah, I didn't at all. I think I was
So-
dehydrated. Rachel was like, "You don't need to go to
so
the bathroom at
proud
all."
of
I know it was weird because I had a giant, like I went all out and got like a giant Coke, and it was half regular, half Coke Zero, just to be a little safe, and then
It was
popcorn.
working, whatever it was. I clearly was not. I had a giant Truly. and
Well,
I think,
the alcohol I think makes it worse,
Yeah,
harder.
so-
Yeah, but
yeah.
but
So I missed a few things, but I feel like I got the points.
you
of
got.
most of
I
this
don't
stuff.
think you, and I feel like, and also I feel like Emmanuel or explained a lot to you, so it was fine.
He did,
Hopefully,
yeah.
yeah. When you got
He
back,
mansplained a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
But yeah,
and then,
so
yeah.
and then we're kind of like back. We've caught up at that point. We know
Yeah.
how he lost his crew, and we know that it's time for him to go home and accept his punishment, which is that, you know, you thought that you could go home a hero and you cannot. And that's why you don't want to go home, because
Yeah.
you're going home to the shame of this like giant sin that you've, you know, inflicted on the gods, and you've
Yeah.
destroyed civilization.
Well, yeah, I thought for me it was more like, yes, he wasn't going back a hero, and I know his ego must be huge, and so is obviously bruised. But I think for me the bigger thing was like he literally, which was kind of the allegory I saw in like current times, was like you took away like decency basically from people. Like no one is being decent to one another anymore. And you took away these social constructs which were, or you betrayed them, and you know it might seem stupid, but like actually that was kind of keeping us together. And now everyone's just being, you know, it's just a free for all now, and no one knows what
and
to
now
expect. Yeah.
Rob Pattinson is in your house kicking your dog, trying to marry your
my
wife.
God, the dog,
And
Argos.
like nobody can
Yeah.
stop him. Argos the dog, such a sad dog.
I know.
How did this dog live for 20 years?
Well, he's a magic dog. It had to be longer
Oh.
than that too, right? He must be magic. I don't know, but
yeah, this is Argos the 25-year-old dog. Like, I don't know.
it was just laying in a pile of dung for like a solid year.
I have
so.
some questions about this
Yeah.
too. Like, first of all, this set was incredible. This was an actual like Sicilian palace where they
It's
shot.
amazing, yeah.
Why was the dung heap so close to the building?
Yeah, and
It
also
was
like,
like on the porch.
why didn't Temelicus just bring him back
Why
to his
didn't he
place?
move the dog?
Yeah, I was like, why are we just leaving this fucking dog here? And
Like,
then, yeah,
why is the dog in the dining room in the first place? Like, take the dog out to John Leguizamo's house. Like,
yeah,
I just like these people have strange customs, and like, who am I to judge? But like, if you care about the dog, don't let the dog.
don't expose it to all the terrible suitors.
And then like, don't leave it in the dung heap that is inexplicably directly on your front veranda
yeah,
for like another 9 years or whatever.
yeah. Oh my god.
So
And then-
confusing.
John Leguizamo, I love that scene. I didn't love it. I just laughed at the scene where he just like had a basket of puppies and just like was
Just, like,
tossing them.
pitching
Like,
them over.
he's like, no. I was like, oh my god, Jesus. But I don't.
mean-
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Honestly, strange animal husbandry going on all over this whole entire film.
Yeah. I thought he was great though. I thought he was really good in the movie.
He
John
was
Leguizamo.
great.
Yeah,
I really,
he was great.
honestly, it's just a pleasure to see him anytime.
Anytime. Yeah.
But he was great.
Yeah.
And
But yeah. And I thought he was great at the end, and I thought he was one of the more sympathetic characters too. I was like, just someone say, like, protect him, like, Jesus Christ. I don't know, but
yeah, like
yeah.
it was an interesting way to think of it, because like he was Odysseus's confidant and his friend, but he really was, he was a slave, right? He was like one of their
I guess so,
slaves.
because he's a swineherd, so I guess
Yeah.
so. But he lived in his own house. I don't know. I honestly
I
don't
mean, you
know.
can live in a house. Maybe it wasn't his house.
That's
Or maybe
true.
a swineherd is like that their version of skilled labor in ancient Greece. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe. Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, it was great to see him.
So he gets back to Ithaca. He's like, I'm going to go into disguise because what's his face told him to.
Yes, very smart. Yeah.
Yes,
Benny
yeah.
Safdie was like, you better cover your face.
Yeah.
You got to pull a Benny Safdie. You got to cover up that. Well, no.
And then I did. So one of my favorite moments, because I thought the soundscape was really good, was when he actually got the bow on the thing and then he like snapped it and the music started. I was like, oh, like that was like a really nice moment. Yeah.
Made it worth it. Although I do
Yeah.
think that the snapping of the bow or whatever, like Odysseus is such an asshole. Like they try to explain it in the beginning when he's hunting and he's like, strumming the bow, and they're like, why are you doing that? You're like, tipping off the animal that you're going to shoot it. And he's like, well, I want to be honorable in battle. And they're like, well, this isn't battle, it's a hunt. But he has to make everything a battle because he's like the worst. He's like, if it was actually a hunt, he would make sure to be as quiet as possible so that he would make sure he got that animal because he has people to feed and responsibilities. But he just wants the glory. He wants it to be a battle. He wants to match wits with the deer. And so he's strumming the bow till it doesn't make it more fair. It makes it like so that he can not only have his, deer for dinner, he can also have the glory of being like the best hunter, which is just such a dick move. But I did really like that sound cue. Like he's gonna get that deer. He's like the best, most accurate archer in the world. He's just like most dangerous gaming it because it's more fun.
Yeah, I didn't catch it till later. At first I thought it was like really nice that he was doing that, and then I was like, oh yeah, he's never gonna make a deer like an honorable opponent. But
no,
yeah,
like
at first I thought it was nice. Yeah,
so much glory. But yeah, no, at first I did think it was nice, and then I like thought about it a little bit more, which is kind of like the theme of this and what makes it such a Nolan movie is that like, we see something one way in the beginning and we see it completely differently at the end. Like we see the battle at Troy as this like glorious victory at the beginning, and then at the end we see it as this like incredibly brutal like sin against the gods. And I thought it was really interesting also, like we haven't talked about Zendaya at all.
I know.
She is in the credits as Athena, and so I guess we're supposed to assume that she is like how Athena is appearing to Odysseus. But also, like, is she? Because no other gods are appearing to Odysseus. Is she just in his mind?
Yeah,
like
that's what I thought.
Kind of like doing an Inception, like haunting him. She's like a ghost. She's the ghost of the priestess that he killed, and she's and kind of like Inception. Like he has known the whole time that what he did was bad, and he just in the end has that like memory of like watching Zendaya be executed, and he's like, oh, now I'm ready to accept it.
Yes, I thought it was like him imagining Athena, but I guess we could also do like some gymnastics and say like this was Athena projecting herself in the body of this or ghost of this woman, the priestess. But
which is the thing, Athena does come to him like a lot of times in this book as many different like folks and but I thought that was very Nolan to me.
But I did,
and then him being like, when he finally accepts and he's like at the palace and he's like talking to Penelope through the screen, and he's like, okay, like now that I've accepted my transgression and that my guilt and my shame, now I can finally be home. And then she disappears, which is what made me think that she was probably a ghost.
Yes, agreed. I thought that like it was literally a projection of his own mind or a ghost, but I think it could have been a lot of things. I think obviously we're supposed to be left to interpret it somehow. But yeah. But yeah, I thought she did a great job. Obviously, she's always great. Yeah.
She looked great. She did a great job. I was happy to see her.
Yeah. But
it was,
Zendaya's always nice.
She could have had more to do.
She could have more to. I think that was like the moral of the story for everyone here, like except for Matt Damon. Really, like they could have had more to do. And
although I thought it was the exact right amount of John Barenthal.
Yes, agreed. I thought John Barenthal kind of made a meal of that, and also like we didn't need that character anymore, so it was fine. Yeah,
he was great. Everybody was great.
Yeah,
and then
agreed.
the final fight scene, like when he, when Odysseus is finally like, and this is a departure from the way that it was in the book, but that like Odysseus is the one who like kills all of the suitors, which is great, or like the rest of them surrender or whatever, and then for some reason decides to like whatever, like sail off into the west like Frodo at the end of this journey. Like,
well, to honor his fallen brethren. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
But like he's doing a Frodo.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And then like they really, I guess, that's like it for them. Like they kind of ignore the falling action of like having to then kill all the families of all of the suitors and all of the like slaves who they think betrayed them and like all of that sort of stuff, which I understand why they didn't do that, and I didn't want to see it. No. But like, and then they
skipped all over that. Yeah.
They skipped all over that, which is fine, and they let Odysseus kind of like fall on the sword of being the vengeful one, and then because of that, kind of like the ending of Lost, he like doesn't get to enjoy the world that he saved, so I thought that was a nice way to handle it, but it was reading like very kind of Christian to me. A lot of this, like I think that the ancient Greek like theology is very different from Christian theology, but this
there's some overlap,
seemed like a pretty Christian reading of like they literally like Zeus's law was the golden rule, which
yes
is I think they're similar, but they're different in reality. And then they give us this like coda with them like sailing off into the sunset, being like, well, we've destroyed society, but society will rise again.
Guess we're gonna go. I
just so I felt a little bit attacked by that. I was like, because I felt like at first I was like, oh, he's talking about us. Like, we have destroyed society and we will forget how to read and write and we will usher in a new dark age. But then I did some research and I discovered that actually after the Trojan War, there was like an ancient Greek dark age where people did forget how to read and write. And then I felt less attacked, but maybe he was doing both.
I thought he was attacking like leadership and more how like
Trump, he was attacking Trump is what it felt like.
He was attacking Trump. But
not, and like I don't lump myself in with Trump certainly, but I was like, oh well, I don't think that we're on the verge of a dark age yet, but maybe we are. I mean,
I definitely would like to not be, but I do have fears of that happening in 100 years. But I don't think a dark age.
Hope. Like I don't anticipate us forgetting how to read and write, although
I don't think
AI is making our children stupider than we were. So
that's so weird. Yeah, that's so true. I guess that's maybe a comment like this is the first generation that is not smarter. I guess Gen Alpha or Gen Z is the first generation that's not smarter than the last. So
although apparently Telemachus's generation was not going to be smarter than Odysseus's generation either, and the world recovered.
True.
True. So I felt like they were don't look upping us a little bit more than I would like, but also I was
hopeful at the end. Actually, I thought, oh, what a great way of delivering this message. It was like a Trojan horse of a message. Like you think you're going to this big blockbuster movie, and then like at the end they're like, actually, don't do this.
Actually, then, be nice to each other.
Yeah, just stop being dicks. So yeah, I kind of liked that. I've actually found it hopeful, to be honest, because I walked away thinking, oh, maybe people will actually see this and hear it, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, maybe they will. And now that I know that there was this like inexplicable age of like, you know, dark ages between the Trojan War and Homer, I feel less attacked, and they did recover. So maybe we can too. They wrote the Odyssey and then eventually wrote it down, and isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's true. But eventually wrote it down.
Yeah. So I mean, all in all, it was a great time. I had a great time.
It was. I would recommend for sure. Yeah.
I would recommend, you know, see it in the biggest screen you can. But also, like, maybe if you like it, go watch Vikings. I would say I was maybe a little bit spoiled for some of this stuff by having watched, you know, 6 or 8 seasons of Vikings, because like that is what they are doing on that show. Like, they partner with the History Channel and they do like build historically accurate like Viking ships and towns.
Okay, I have to look this up.
Like, it's shockingly historically accurate, and the production value is really quite good. And a lot of what this movie reminded me of was Vikings.
Okay, I have to watch this. Yeah.
Especially that section where they like have the battle in the woods with the giant people, which I thought was like confusing, but I loved it. It
was very like disorienting. I think that it was successful in conveying that sense of kind of confusion and sort of feeling trapped and stuff.
And the setting up the like thing that Nolan also loves to do, which is like, you know, to the monsters were the monsters, being like, you know, them being like, no, it's okay, we're Greeks, we're civilized, but then this like, you know, nightmare folk tale everyone is hearing about the people from the sea is actually just Odysseus's men, like running around not obeying Zeus's law.
So true.
Being dicks and sacking and stealing and like all of this sort of stuff. So no, that was really that was a really interesting reveal. I'm like, oh, that's very Nolan.
Very Nolan. And I do appreciate, you know, I like Nolan for the way he kind of gives these things to people in a way that's very digestible. I do like that.
You feel like you went on a ride.
And you learned a lesson, and like, you know, there's you know, it feels kind of like, you know, a Homer story in a way, but
it does. And also, I do want to say about that scene in the woods with the giant people that they were fighting. Their use of forced perspective was just like, it was so cool. Like, they literally... It
was really cool.
Like, they used forced perspective and, like, pretty tall actors and also pretty short actors. And trenches and platforms. And it was really, really cool.
It was really cool.
They needed the IMAX camera for that, and I appreciated it.
And I kind of... It felt a little bit gratuitous, but I felt like that was one moment where I'm like, oh, they're playing with, like, what they can do, and I think that was kind of cool too. I think
everybody was flexing in that scene. It was like it didn't have that much to do with the plot, but it was very, very cool.
Exactly. But yes, so message is, well, go watch it. I think
I think so. I think go watch this movie. And we talked a little bit about kind of like this as an awards movie. I think it will be nominated at least for many technical awards.
I think so.
It may or may not be a win for Nolan in adapted screenplay.
So, I mean, maybe we'll see.
Maybe we'll see what other adaptations there are coming down. I think Anne Hathaway for sure will run, and I think she will run in supporting because she'll have the best chance of winning. I think that Samantha Morton also would probably, you know,
get at least a nomination.
At least or maybe she'll get the Globe or something.
And
she's great, and I really like her.
Me too.
You know, she's just been like kind of like a character actress for many years. It's always lovely to see her.
I always like seeing her too, and I feel like I think we'll get a lot of actress and actor nominations. Maybe not wins, but I think we're gonna get a lot of nominations. for this movie.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get a lot of wins. But yeah, a nomination for Damon, win for Damon.
I think he'll get a nomination. I would be surprised if he won, but I think he'll get a nomination. Yeah. I think it would be a real snub if he didn't. Maybe everyone doesn't like him, but I feel like everyone likes him enough that they will
really like him.
Give him. So they're gonna give him a nomination at least.
I think,
so.
he'll at least be nominated. I don't know. I mean, you could make the argument. We'll see what else comes out. We're just gearing up for like getting ready for award season first.
The serious movies,
The serious movies are coming throughout the fall. The festivals are beginning, and it's all happening.
Yeah. So go make it a whole experience. Get popcorn, get the drink, and go see it. I would recommend. Yeah,
we recommend it highly. We liked it. I might even see it again.
I kind of want to see it again. I would love to see it on IMAX if I can figure that out, but we'll see. Yeah. But
so we will be back next week to talk about some things that are upcoming. We will eventually, maybe in a couple of weeks, cover Copenhagen Fashion Week, which is coming up. I believe the first week of August.
Yeah.
That will be a good one, and some exciting stuff film-wise coming down the pike for the fall.
I agree. Yeah, and if this press tour is anything indicating what's happening, it'll be a great season for fashion too. So I'm excited.
Oh yes, I mean, we're so excited.
Yeah,
Zendaya absolutely killing it on this press tour and on the Spider-Man press tour.
Yeah, they're doing great. Yeah,
and just in life.
Yeah, just in life. Yeah. I agree. Her and Tom Holland are really sweet, and
they're so sweet.
I know, but yeah. So congrats to them. But yes,
congrats to them. Congrats to everybody. Congrats to Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
Congrats to Homer.
Homer, we see you. We hear you.
We see you. We hear you. We're listening. We're gonna try not to enter a new dark age, and
we'll try. We'll do our best. We're gonna work really hard.
Best. Well,
yeah, but we'll work as hard as we can.
We'll end on a hopeful note.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening. Please, as always, follow us on socials at NYSophalites on Instagram. And if you want to tell us some cool stuff about ancient Greece that we didn't know or we didn't talk about, or if you have thoughts about this translation, or you are a classicist and you want to weigh in, probably we will talk more about this and the backlash to this movie in future episodes.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, please let us know. We'd love to hear. So thank you for joining us, and enjoy a nice trip to ancient Greece when you go.
See you next time.